Okay, so once we've installed it, if you come down on the left hand side here, you'll see this little SEO button, this little orange button, and if you click on that, it'll bring you onto the Yoast general settings. You can go in and take a tour. It'll pretty much show you pretty much how to, go, how everything works in Yoast. So let's take a look. If I scroll down a little bit, you'll see what all the options are for it. So you see we've got dashboard, titles and metas, social, XML, sitemaps, permalinks, internal links, RSS, import and export, bulk title editor, bulk description editor, edit files and extensions. Don't worry, it sounds like complicated, but it actually isn't. I'll run through it real quick and show you what to do. So if we go ahead and click on the dashboard to start off, this is pretty much just going to bring us to this page. Right, so tracking is basically just so the developers can, tracking issues. I generally use that, leave that unchecked. Security. This is just, if you've got multiple people accessing the site. So, wouldn't worry too much about that. You can go through and install webmaster tools. So if you go through and go through each of these, I'll show you. So basically just go through and click on each one and verify it, and you'll be up and running. It really doesn't take that much time, and then go ahead and click save changes. This will just, this just helps. Every little bit helps. Okay, so yeah, once you've gone ahead and added your site to the webmaster tools, then make sure you click save changes, and then we'll click on titles and metas. Sorry, my computer is running so slow today. Okay, so basically, there's all different things you can come into here. It all looks pretty confusing, but it isn't. You don't really need to worry too much about any of these, actually, because you don't want to prevent the search engine from using DMOZ or Yahoo. I mean, you want to get indexed wherever you can. So you can check this one. Just, stops non-indexed subpages from showing up, just basically to speed things up on your site. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Go ahead and click save changes, and then we'll move on to the next one, which is social, obviously, tied into the likes of Facebook. So once it's saved those changes, right, so you can add, any of these, like if you're on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all tied into your business, which I suggest you actually do. Just go through and add all your details in here. It just ties all the just ties everything together nicely, or you can pretty much see everything from the blog. Next is XML sitemaps. This one's fairly important. This creates a sitemap for your entire site, so Google can crawl it, which basically means every time you make a new post or some changes to your site, Google will detect it if you have. I'll show you. If you click on this, it'll show you sitemap. This site isn't terribly big just yet, as I've only been adding content to it for a few months, but basically, yeah, it'll just take you, which is like your domain, say mine's marketingmichelle.com /sitemap underline index.xml, and it'll pretty much just show you all the pages that have been it's just different sitemaps in here. So there's one for posts, pages, categories, and tags. So that's all good. If you click on those, it'll bring up obviously all the ones that are in those categories. Okay, so so that's the sitemap. We want to come down. We really don't need to worry about pinging the search engines, because what I find with WordPress is it pretty much indexes it straight away anyway. I mean, you can check them if you like, but it's really not necessary. So we might want to click on, if there's anything on here that you don't want to show up in your sitemap, you can go ahead and click it, which you know, this would be like media or attachments. You know, it could be downloads, perhaps, you know, zip files that you don't want people to have access to. So that's pretty much up to you. Pretty much want all those to show up in our sitemap. Yeah, I mean, that's really, you know, there's really not that, this stuff, you know, you really don't need to mess with too much. So we'll come down to permalinks. You might want to go ahead and check remove stock words from slugs. Just, you know, those you have plenty of URLs. Really nothing else you need to worry about too much. So then we can move down to internal links. So as you can see, I'm really not messing too much with any of these settings, and I pretty much advise you to do the same unless you really know what you're doing. Okay, so internal links, which is basically breadcrumbs. I honestly would not touch this at all unless you really know what you're doing, because you can quite easily stuff things up. And the same goes for RSS. I wouldn't, you know, I mean, all you're after at the moment is to just get your site up and running, as you know, as well optimized as possible. And you know, you can always look into this stuff later. You know, if you want to go ahead and create RSS feeds and stuff like that, you can always, you know, do it later. So let's go with import export. So even though it looks, you know, pretty scary, there's really not that much you need to mess with at all. Okay, so this you can, you know, if you've been using another plugin, like another SEO plugin, you can actually, like all-in-one SEO is one I used to use. You can go ahead and import all these into Yoast if you want to. You know, like I said, if you don't, if it's a new blog, you're not going to have to worry about any of that. And then pretty much the rest of it you don't have to worry about either. There's a bulk title editor, bulk description, edit files, and extensions. You really don't have to mess with any of that either. So once it's all installed and you've, you know, checked the odds and ends, you know, a few bits and pieces in here, what you need to do is, I'll show you where all this is going to turn up. So let's go into posts and I'll show you, because you're probably wondering, you know, where is all this going to, how is all this going to help me? So I'll go into a post that I already have set up and published, and it'll give you a good idea on how to do it yourself. But I'll actually go through this in the next step as well. So let's go ahead and do how to make a Facebook fan page, which I published the other day. So first thing you'll notice right here is SEO, and it has a green button. Okay, so this is what you want when you do a post. What Yoast is going to do is going to pretty much go through your posts, and it's going to check that all the SEO is right. If it's looking pretty good, then you're going to get a green light. You know, this is what you're aiming for. So it's basically, if you scroll down until you find, here we go, WordPress SEO by Yoast. So, right, first you'll need to come in. Well, actually, I'm not going to go through this right now. I'll go through this in the next section. But basically, this is where you're going to edit and add all your info, you know, to optimize your blog posts and blog pages. So the only ones you really need to look at is general and page analysis. Okay, you'll see, and they'll even give you recommendations of what you can fix to make it even more well optimized. I wouldn't like spend hours and hours doing that. The only, you know, as long as you've got the green light up the top, and you've got mostly green. I'm not sure why it's saying my keyword isn't in the first paragraph, because it actually is. But yeah, pretty much you can get your post, you know, so you've got this, and if you go ahead and click on check here, it'll take you down to that page analysis. So you can go through and, you know, you pretty much want to have green as much as possible. But as I said, I'll go into this in the actual copy. But that, just to show you, that is where, if you're wondering, you know, how Yoast is actually going to help you optimize, this is it. You know, you just scroll down every time you're on a post or a page, it'll go through and, you know, show you optimization, how to better optimize each page, which is really cool. Okay, so let's move on to the next section.